my personal opinion at this point, probably took some PDs. Perhaps SARMs, I don't know.
Okay. What is going on, guys? Alex Eubank here, coming back at you with another YouTube video. Again, uploading on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe if you have not already, as we're trying to hit 500K by the end of the year, and we're pretty much on track. Anyways, this video, I'm going to be responding to Greg Doucette's response to my natural 6-year transformation. Basically, it's kind of like a natty or not. He's already made a natty or not on me. This is, I guess, like the second, kind of like the second one. Anyways, just going into this video, I want you guys to know that me and Greg Doucette are cool. We're friends. We literally talk in the DMs about stuff. We're probably actually going to go collab, make some videos here in the foreseeable future. So I just want to let you guys know there's no like tension or whatever it is. He's purely just giving his perspective of my 6-year transformation of what I showed in this video, and then basically him just giving his opinion of it. And then here in I'm going to give my perspective of it, my almost like my defense, because I truly know. Obviously, I'm the only one who would know truly if I'm natural or not, and that's I say that I am natural. So I'm going to show that a little bit more in this video, kind of explaining the claims that Greg said about me. Now, again, he brings up some good points in this video, you will see. And again, if you want to believe that I'm natural or not natural, I generally don't care, again, at the end of the day. I'm not making this video because I care not about it. It's just I want to defend, and I think it's just a good idea for a video just to make a response to Greg Doucette, because I haven't done that yet. And Greg Doucette's like, it's pretty sick to see, you know, when I started in the fitness industry, I used to watch Greg's videos like every single day. To see him like making content on me now is like a super sick thing. So it's cool to just, you know, kind of try this myself to do like a response video. So I don't know, I'm just gonna see how well it does. I don't know how it'll perform on my channel, but we'll see. Again, if you are like if you believe that I'm not natural, if you believe that I'm not natural after watching like Greg's video or just thinking that I'm not, don't hate me for somebody else's opinion. You know, if you watch Greg's video and you think because of what he's saying that I wasn't natural in that transformation, don't come over to my channel or like my DM spewing hate just off of somebody else's opinion or off their own perspective. And the same thing for supporters who are big supporters of mine who know that I'm natural. Don't go over to Greg's channel spewing like nonsense, saying like, oh, he's just trying to get like, just don't, because I've seen some of you guys saying that, so don't worry about that. We're perfectly fine. Me and Greg are cool. So yeah, we're just gonna get in this video and we'll go play it through.
And today, a full-on natty or not, none other than Alex Eubank. He recently released a video. It says, my 6-year transformation from age 16 to 22. And in the past, I've stated, I don't think this guy is natural. And so we're going to see, based on this video, does Alex present a good, sound argument that his achievements were done 100% natural? And so a point in Alex's favor, he does seem to have above average genetics, seems to have a lot of muscle even at the age of 12 to 14, long before he even touched a weight. And so for me, this is an above average physique, which makes it more likely that he could have achieved his physique natural. First things first, running a mile before every workout, that's not crazy. That's called a warm-up.
Okay. All right. So for me, I ran a mile before every single workout, but like running was like my main source of like exercise and calisthenics. So that's what I wish I would have included more. I was running like every single day, like not just a mile before my lift, but like I would go out on these trails near my dad's house where I used to live, and I would go running around them, just because I thought that was the best way to get a six-pack. When I was 16 and I first started lifting, all I was about was like, yo, I gotta get shredded. So it was just a bunch of cardio. And I don't know, I thought a mile before workout, like, so I would never do that today. There's no way.
So he was only 135 pounds at 16 as a freshman, looked incredible. And so how much muscle did he put on? Now, we all know the law of diminished returns. And when you're a newbie, you experience newbie gains. The first year of training, you're going to experience the most gains, and it's going to gradually go down after that. Okay, so he's 16 years of age. In his first year of training, he puts on 10 pounds of muscle, goes from 135 to 145. And then the next year, from 17 to 18, he puts on 45 pounds, where he gained the majority of his muscle. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around, how is it possible that he gained 10 pounds of muscle his first year, which is great, and then 45 pounds the year after? Now, he does say he's force feeding, adding in extra protein, and eating more, but I don't see a significant increase in body fat. For the most part, that was mostly muscle. Some fat, water, sure. But a heck of a lot more muscle was gained from age 17 to 18 than from 16 to 17. And if you're 100% natural, you used to see the greatest gains in year 1, year 2 a little bit less, and so on. My personal opinion at this point, probably took some PDs. Perhaps SARMs, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So my defense. Obviously, this is an amazing point Greg makes here. You're supposed to gain when you have newbie gains. You gain the most amount of mass. This is like when it's your prime time for growing. You should utilize it. That's why I always tell like kids who are younger who aren't like to not worry about being super shredded. Is just to start building that foundation while you can, because you'll be able to build the most your first like few years of lifting. So yeah, it's like your scale. It's like as you start lifting, you gain a bunch of muscle. It's easier to gain, and then as you naturally are lifting over time, you get diminishing returns. So like if I go through a bulk now, 6 years into lifting, I will gain a little bit, but not as much as I would have when I was like 16, 17. So my defense for why I didn't gain as much when I was 16 and I gained a lot of my muscle when I was 17. When I was 16 and I was doing like, more of the calisthenic stuff, I was running a lot. I had no idea what I was doing in the gym. Like I did not know how to train. I did not know how to diet. I was basically doing like a keto thing. I thought carbs were bad for me. So like I wasn't eating carbs at all. There wasn't as much like fitness information out there when I was 16 like there is today, like through TikTok and everything. So I honestly had no idea what the hell I was doing in the gym. And then I started doing my own research, and then as I got closer to turning 17, like more around my junior year of high school, is when I started like I was studying the scientific studies. I was watching like Jeff Nippert a lot back then. And then I started eating. Like I stopped doing cardio and I started eating a bunch of food, a bunch of carbs. So for me, my defense of why I didn't gain that much muscle during when I was 16 was because I was doing cardio, I was doing like lower carb stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. I was not prioritizing building muscle at all. And then when I was 17, I started going through the dirty bulk. I was eating whatever the hell was in sight, whatever I wanted to eat. It was just the first year I didn't have knowledge on what I was doing. The second year, I actually started to develop things, started to watch, people in the industry and learn from them and basically just mimic them. And I dialed in. It was my main priority. Like I said, like my grades were shit. It was just straight up my priority was building muscle and getting as big as possible, just eating whatever I could eat. So yeah, that's why I'd say I gained more in the second year versus the first year. I know some of you guys might even be weird, might be like, yo, why are you defending this so much? It's not that I'm trying to defend it. I'm just like explaining my side more the same way Greg explained his opinion. And again, you could choose which side you want to believe. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just don't hate me or Greg for being on one side. It's like there's no beef like that. It's just us clearly stating our sides of this perspective.
Anyone that can gain close to 45 pounds of muscle in a couple of years, expect that they will continue to build a decent amount of muscle after that. And so if you're putting on 45 pounds and you're a unit by the age of 17, 18, then you're going to continue to improve after that. So you're not going to suddenly see muscle go up and then go down. If you do, that's probably when you went on the PDs. For example, you take SARMs, gain a ton of muscle, and then if you stop, go off the PDs, you then lose some muscle. And so let's see, did he continue to gain muscle or did he in fact lose some? Stay tuned, let's find out right now. For me, the amount of muscle he put on here looks like somebody that was taking something. I can't be sure, but it does look like he's taking something. After all, if he had the kind of genetics to put on muscle this quickly, it would remind me of a guy named Quint Beast Mode. Quinton. He had amazing genetics, and he was a lifetime.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. When he compared me to this guy, I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy is a unit, bro. This guy, I guarantee if you put me and this dude next to each other, I would look like a little kid. So yeah, you can watch the rest.
Natural when he was his age. He only later took PDs after he turned pro. That's right, after. And so if Alex has the kind of genetics that Quinton does, we should see him continue to build muscle the way Quinton does. And so let's compare the two. Did Alex continue to put on muscle? He has amazing genetics for putting on muscle. He looks like a unit age 17 to 18. And so imagine how much bigger he got after that.
My arms are honestly probably the same size now as they were back then. My arms have always been pretty shitty genetically.
Hold on, time out. If you have amazing genetics to put on muscle, and you went from 145 to 190 in 1 or 2 years, are you suddenly going to stop and have the same size arms at 18, 19 as you do at 22? Think of it. Do you think that Alex reached his natural genetic potential in 3 years of training? Been training.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out the whole arm thing. That obviously they got bigger. Obviously they got bigger from being 22 now to when they were like 17. It's just that my arms always been like a weak genetic point for me in terms of like my insertions. So I've always kind of belittled them, and I've always hyped up like my chest and my back. Yeah, he's giving good points though, how I should keep growing over time, so we're gonna keep playing it.
And so he should not even be close to his genetic potential at the age of 19. I started training at 10. If you compare my growth throughout the years, I continue to get bigger, 18, 19, 20, 21, and so on. It was only later, after doing 42 competitions, natural, that I took PDs, and then you could see amazing gains after that.
Okay, so the point Greg's making here is how when he was natural, he was still getting bigger, even when he was in like his low 20s. How I am, and how I like have not been able to really get as big. I never like you see my transformation video. My biggest bulk I had was that point from when I was like 16 to 18 years old. Around was the time when I actually was probably eating more in a surplus in my entire life. And then after I was 18, you'll see later in this video, I lost some weight. I got sick. I got not even just sick. I just got I had mental illness sick. And then I did a little bit of a bulk after that. Gained, I believe I went back up to 185, and that was the last time I've ever been in a surplus. So the last time technically I've been in a surplus was around January, February of 2020 is when I actually was like telling myself, hey, we're gonna put on some body fat, we're gonna go bulk up a little bit and try to gain some muscle. Since then, like the social media stuff has popped off, and I have not really went through a significant bulking cycle. There's been times where I'll slack on my diet a little bit, but I've not went to a actual growing phase like I used to back when I was in high school, or that last one I had right before I started doing social media content. As for Greg, obviously he competes, so I already know he's going to be going through some off-season stuff and on-season stuff. So when bodybuilders are in their off-season, you're focused on growing, you're focused on bringing up your weak points. It's a priority to build muscle. For me, it was not always a priority just to build muscle. For me, when I started doing social media content, my priority was to look good on camera, so that more people will watch my content and that I can blow up more. So therefore, I stayed at a lower body fat percentage. Literally, since I've been pretty much bigger on social media, I have not allowed myself to go through a legitimate, force-feeding bulk like I did in high school, where I gained a lot of size. And I feel like that's why I've been, around, somewhat the same size the last, 2.5 years, whatever it is. So that's my defense of why I haven't got bigger over time. It's because just growing and going through a building phase was not a priority to me. But for Greg, it probably was, because he was competing and actually having those off-season, times where he was focused on that. Started getting pretty aki. This is when I really started like pushing the calories. I was bringing 2 protein bars to school, and throughout the day I was having double lunches. I literally did not care about grades. All I did was go to the gym and play video games.
And so despite the fact that he's pushing the calories and eating a lot, the guy has a clear and defined six-pack, and so he's not...
Okay, I wanted to put here, this is not when I was 18. This picture was when I was like 17. This was before I really went through that big bulk. This is like the beginning. This is like from the transition from 16 to 17 years old. So this, if I'll pop up a picture right now showing what I looked like when I actually was 18, or right before I turned 18, when I actually was eating all these calories and like going to the gym super hard, of what I looked like. I obviously was at a lot higher body fat percentage and not have a six-pack.
Not really in a massive surplus. What he's got is he's gaining a ton of muscle. I personally think not 100% natural. Think it's from SARMs or something. And he even shows his report card, which the teachers are saying, hey, this guy doesn't study enough. He only cares about the gym. Clearly, he's not focused on school.
And this is when I started hitting around 185. Like, I don't know what it is for you guys. When I was in high school, like when this was my thing, like I was obsessed, like more than now by far. Even though I'm even about to compete. Back then, like lifting and like eating was my biggest priority. Like if I was gonna go hang out with people, with friends, I had to make sure I was bringing like a protein bar with me, or I would eat. I had like these like the canned tuna cups, and I'd have to eat them before I go out and do something. It was like every 2 hours, it was like I had to have some protein going into my body, and I have like OCD, like extremely bad, to where like it overtook everything. It was actually kind of unhealthy. It was an obsession. But I was like, I loved it. It was like my thing. So I don't know if you guys have experienced something like the same thing, where you start going to the gym and lifting, and it becomes like the biggest passion for you. Obviously, it's still a passion for me now, but back then when I first started and found it out, I was obsessed, like unhealthily obsessed. Pounds to my heaviest, which was, I believe 190 was the heaviest I weighed, and that was in the last few months of high school, right before I turned 18.
And so consider that. He was 185 to 190 pounds. Guy clearly, and has a clearly defined six-pack.
Okay. See, like the clearly defined six-pack. This picture is not valid, because I was way leaner in this picture than I was in the ones you just showed prior. Again, I was around the 16 to 17 beginning transition in this picture, and I have like the picture when I was like probably my chunkiest, which I'll show, and that's when I was 190 pounds.
It's been 3 years from this.
If that was me at 190 pounds, I would be suspect too. If I was that lean.
If he was 100% natural throughout, would he not continue to increase in size? Does it not make more sense that perhaps the guy took something back then, cycled off, and that explains this size increase?
Graduation day, high school, I threw up and I developed a fear of getting sick, and it basically made me scared of eating food, so I lost around 15 to 20 pounds.
And so what is more likely, that he developed an irrational fear of eating because he was scared to get sick? Because let's face it, if he never ate anything, would he not have developed anorexia and lost all his muscle fat and withered away? Or that he was on PDs to help him gain 45 pounds of muscle in a year or two, and then when he stopped those PDs, he lost some of it. Which seems like the more plausible explanation to you?
All right, that was probably the best point he said in his video, where like if I was a viewer who didn't really watch me, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. He probably was on gear before. In my defense of this, again, if you guys know me or know my channel, if you've watched like my life story video, I had a extreme battle with mental health, anxiety, and depression, extreme. And some people don't understand it, but if you have not dealt with anxiety, depression on your own, you literally think it's like a fairy tale. Like only the people who have dealt with it understand truly how bad it can get. Those who have not dealt with it, you are so blessed, be happy for it. Like when I tried to explain it to like my friends back then who didn't deal with it, they thought I was crazy. Like, and they were like, yo, why are you being a bitch? And it's not. Like it literally was the worst thing, where I wanted to, it was so bad, I hated dealing with it, that I wanted to take my own life. It got so bad. And if you've watched my life story video, you can see that. So I've always had that bad anxiety and depression and stuff. And then I don't know what it was that triggered it, but when I got sick my graduation morning, I developed a huge fear, because it was after I ate like my big meal, and the first meal of the day. And I developed like it was weird how my brain is wired. I was afraid to eat food in the morning. And I always had IBS. I would convince myself that I was gonna get sick. So I started taking stuff like Prilosec to make my stomach stop making as much acids. But like I literally would leave my house and I'd have to pull over on the side of the road dry heaving, because I would convince myself after I ate that like I was probably gonna get sick. Even though I wasn't, and it was just like a mental issue I had. I was like literally, that's when I say I got sick. I had like a mental illness issue that like whole summer. It's not that I didn't eat anything all day. When it got closer to nighttime and I was at home, I was relaxed, I was playing video games, I was able to stomach a lot more food, and I was able to actually eat some meals. But I did lose a little bit of size, and my workout suffered a little bit over that summer, and I did get a little bit smaller. It wasn't I wasn't trying to cut weight. It was just I was dealing with that issue, and I was losing a little bit of size from it. So although I do completely understand what Greg is saying here, and where it looks like maybe I took a cycle, gained a lot of weight, and then hopped off. My defense for it, of what I truly know, is because I'm the one who went through it, is I was extremely fucked up in the head, and I just lost that whole drive for, you know, wanting to make sure I was doing everything. I was so scared, bro. I was so scared. I literally couldn't leave my house. Like again, like if you haven't watched my life story video, go watch it. I'm pretty sure I have my voice messages I used to say to myself in there. And it was bad. It was a bad time in my life for sure. But yeah, that's my defense. And obviously that may not sound believable to some people who don't understand how bad anxiety and stuff can get. But that's my truth. So able to kind of rebound pretty good. I definitely could see that I had muscle memory, and I was able to, you know, once I started going back to the gym consistently, the size and like the definition came back pretty quick.
And so this rebounding, going back and forth, and muscle memory and all that, that is very likely the cause of going off and on the cycles, taking PDs for a while and stopping them.
Still getting a good physique.
And so he went to college, didn't know what to do, had some struggles mentally, and got through them, and continued to train, and he has an amazing physique here. And in these photos, I do think he's natural.
So the fact that Greg's saying in these pictures, this was after that hiatus where I kind of lost some muscle and I wasn't able to eat as much over summer. And he said how I was like rebounding. So I was really big, I lost some weight, and I started to build it back up. And this is when I was building it back up, and he thinks that I'm natural here. So I just wanted to point that out. This is when I was starting. Again, I was still having issues with the food thing. So I was leaner than I was in high school. I still had issues with like force feeding and like drinking protein shakes. I like couldn't stomach protein shakes. But I was still in the process of like building my size back.
And Sans, I think that is a natural physique. And so perhaps he was natural at age 16, then at age 17 took SARMs, perhaps Austrian, who knows, took that for a while, gained 45 pounds, got to his peak weight of 190, and then stopped those SARMs, lost 20 pounds, back down to 170, and here he is once again training natural, doing calisthenics, looking amazing.
Again, like Greg is hitting it like it seems, if I again didn't know me as a person, or if I was like my 17, 18-year-old self watching a video of Greg making this dissection of somebody else, I'd be like, oh, he definitely was on at that time. So I completely understand like his perspective of this. And that's why I'm making this video, to kind of go into more detail of it. I think I was at 175 pounds in these pictures you're seeing right now.
And so he's now 19 years of age, down 15 pounds from his former high of 190. He's 175 pounds. And I do think right here, the guy's natural. I think at 19, he looks like this. He's natural.
again, pretty solid physique. I don't feel like I gained much at all since then on my upper body. My upper body stayed relatively the same.
And so he quite literally saying, and I don't feel like I've gained that much. And think of it, he's 19. Would he not continue to grow from the age 18? Quentin Beast Mode, when he was 18, 19, 20, continued to get bigger year after year because he has amazing genetics. I said the world's best genetics. The guy looks incredible.
After I was 19, I went through another bulk. This is the last bulk I've ever been through.
Oh, no. Okay, and then he says, I went on another bulk. To me, that is code for I went on another SARM cycle. That is what I see. I'm sorry, I'm telling you what I think.
Greg, yo, I love you, bro. But like, how else am I supposed to build muscle without like, is there not a way for me to bulk without it looking like I'm hopping on a cycle? You know what I mean? Like, I needed to gain weight somehow. It's not that I didn't take a cycle. I wasn't hopping on a cycle, but it's like, anytime I say in the transformation that I'm going to try to build muscle or like get bigger, it's like, oh, he must be hopping on a cycle again. Like, you can still bulk. Like, I was bulking naturally. Like, you still bulk naturally. So I thought it was funny just because, like, I was like, yo, what? Like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, do I just stay the same weight forever? Like, how, without getting accused?
I could be wrong. I'm just giving you my honest opinion of what I think. I think he has an amazing natural physique at age 19, 175 pounds. That before that, he took something to get to that, lost some of his gains when he went off, and then wanted them again. If he was 100% natural through the course of the 6 years, I would expect the largest amount of muscle through year 1 and a gradual decline in muscle each and every year after that. But what I'm seeing is decent muscle growth, crazy muscle growth, muscle loss, crazy muscle growth. And so why is that? Well, that is picture perfect descriptions of what happens when you cycle on and off PEDs. And as I'm watching him train his serratus anterior, doing those dumbbell pullovers, to me, that doesn't look like a natural back. It looks like the...
See, like, to me, because I know the truth, and like having Greg say that my back does not look natty is obviously would be a big compliment to me. If I am natural, which I know like the truth, so I know that I am. So I take it as a compliment of him saying that looks like a not natty back
of somebody that's currently on performance enhancers.
And you'll see in these things, like I get lean pretty quick. You'll see in each video I start to get leaner and leaner, and my muscles start to pop more and more, especially my upper body.
He's getting leaner and leaner, and his muscles are starting to pop more and more. And what I'm seeing in this picture is he's losing fat and building muscle at the same time. Very hard to do.
Okay, good point. I was not gaining muscle while losing fat in those. Again, those are like prime lighting. When I go through a legitimate bulk, like I was again dialed in for that, I was starting to get my appetite back. I think I went up to 185. I think that was me around 185. And I just fill out. It's a difference from I can show before that bulk when I was before. So I'll show when he said that I was natural, and then I'll show after, which was I think 8 months later, and you can look at it yourself. But all I'm gonna say is like I went from 185, or I went from the 175 to the 185. So you'll see in the two pictures, it's around a 10-pound difference, I'd say. And then I went through my first actual legitimate cut, and that's what you'll see in the later pictures that he's going to talk about. And that's when I started actually doing social media.
When you're 100% natural and you diet down, in general, you look small when you get cut. You realize, wow, a lot of my mass that I had was actually fat. And most people have twice as much fat as they think they have in order to get shredded. You're 190 thinking, wow, if I lost 20 pounds, 160, I'd be peeled. Meanwhile, come to find out you had to diet down all the way to 140 to look shredded. But not Alex. He's literally on a diet and looks bigger while getting more shredded at the same time.
Again, defense for that, like when you diet as a natural, you look pretty flat. Like out of the gym, I looked pretty flat. But when I'm in the gym and I have a really good pump and I'm very, very lean, like shredded lean, you look absolutely insane. But once you lose that, it's a completely different look. And then I got down, I think I went from 185 to 170 pounds.
And so I gotta say that this physique in this pose, I don't think it's natural. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm literally guessing. You understand this is a guess. I'm not his doctor. I don't know what's going on. But I do know that in the past he talked about having crushed testosterone levels. He had normal testosterone levels in the 400s and 500s, and then it got cut down. And so...
All right, so I wouldn't say normal testosterone is at 400 to 500. I still think if you're at my age, like 21, and I think I was 20 in that, and you're having testosterone in 400 to 500, like that's pretty shit. Like you should probably get that checked out. So my testosterone has always been relatively low. I mean, when I was 20, I'm pretty sure I tested at 440. Then I got it retested, and I think it was 550. And then more recently, when I was at the leanest I ever was, which is before I went out to Los Angeles, I was at 215, which is extremely low. And one point that I want to bring up, because Greg is bringing up testosterone here, I don't know if I'm allowed to actually like use his name, but there is I don't know if he's a natural pro or not, but he's big in social media. I actually grew up watching him quite a bit, and I'm sure if I said his name, some of you guys would know who he is. But he's a lifetime natural. I believe he's a Marine as well, and I was talking to him in the DMs about this before because he mentioned me in his story one time. We actually had a conversation in the DMs, and he told me when he was competing for a show, actually, I'll read this word for word. He told me that he was prepping in 2018 for the National Bodybuilding World Championship. He dieted a little too hard. He did a blood panel test on the last day of depleting, and he was at 42 total test, 42 nanograms per deciliter. But as soon as the show was over, he gained 15 pounds and everything felt normal again. Libido went back to normal, energy, strength, and mood. So when you diet down, and Greg knows this, he'll talk about this later in the video. When you diet down as a natty and you make yourself go to extremely low body fat, especially for a prolonged period of time, your body's not able to produce testosterone. Your body, it can produce a little bit, but it's not able to be where it is if you're actually feeding it and if you're bulking. So when you stay at a lean body fat for a lot longer time, your shit's gonna be low. It's gonna be lower. So that's my defense for that.
But how would you explain getting bigger muscles while losing fat? To do that, you're building muscle while in a calorie deficit of which he'd been on for a year and a half. That is a long time to cut to look amazing for social media. And it would be a lot easier to maintain single-digit body fat if you're taking PDs, SARMs, whatever.
All right, so I want to show a video or a picture, whatever I have in my Snapchat memories, of what I actually like genuinely looked like without a pump when I got to that 170-pound mark, because I did not get bigger while getting leaner, because I know Greg keeps saying that, but I didn't. And to make that more accurate to see, I'll show pumps out of the gym or pictures out of the gym without a pump. You'll see like how I kind of looked pretty small. I was pretty small. So I'll show them. I'll pop them up.
Imagine. And at this point, he's now gotten a sponsor. And so is there perhaps pressure to say, I did it natural? The sponsor maybe doesn't want him. The sponsors perhaps don't want him to say, yeah, I got this physique, I was taking PDs.
Okay, the sponsors don't give a shit. Like, at least mine, like Raw Gear doesn't give a shit about people taking gear. There's plenty of people on Raw Gear who take gear. Same thing with Alpha Line, same thing with same thing. Any sponsor I have, like nobody cares if you're natural or not.
Presenting my argument, he's presenting his, and you can come to your own conclusion. And remember he said earlier, I don't care what you think, this is just facts. And so if he's 100% natural, he needs to take this as a compliment. And I'm not saying this to take away his hard work. Clearly, no matter what you take, you still have to put in the work. And regardless if you're on PDs, it's a lot of work. You have to train harder than last time, both in the gym and in the kitchen, and have to be willing to suffer.
And then more recently, we've added more fat. We've gained a little bit more. Greg makes an amazing point there. Again, you can believe who you want, but no matter if you are enhanced or not enhanced, you have to put in a shit ton of work. I hate when I look at TikTok comments and I'll see people who just discrediting people's physiques and trying to say that it's just because they're on gear. And all these TikTok warriors or YouTube profiles with no profile picture, just because they're showing their own insecurity. Hate stems out of envy, insecurity, and jealousy. So a lot of these people, when they see somebody having a better physique than them, they just choose, hey, he's on gear, because that makes themselves feel better. It's an insecurity tactic, because by saying they're in gear, it puts them out of their ballpark for what they believe can be achievable. So it makes their mind feel almost smaller, like they don't have to compare themselves to that person. So that's the issue with like this fitness industry and shit. It's so toxic because everyone just compares each other. And it's so dumb. Like I always say, like stay in your own lane and try to be the best you. Like I get even people saying how like they're gonna get, I can't wait to get bigger than you, Alex, one day. Like, bro, like why are you comparing your physique to mine? Like just you go to the gym, find love and enjoy it. If that's your haven of where you are able to fight your demons and like that's like saving you right now, like go do that and just build the best physique you can possibly do. But don't worry about trying to mimic somebody else's physique or beat somebody else's physique or lift more than this person or that person. If that's your competitive nature and that helps you, like I guess motivates you, then go ahead. But like don't push that on other people. You know, insecurity is, what is it? Like the quote, insecurity is like the killer of joy. Or what's it say? Comparison is a thief of joy. That's so facts, bro. Literally in anything. So make sure you remember that. Don't try to just discredit somebody's work just because they look better. Weight. I went up to 180 at my heaviest since these videos you guys have seen.
And so here he is posing with Bradley Martin, who's 6'5" and over 250 pounds, and he doesn't look small. And more recently, he stated he's going to be entering a bodybuilding competition. And so this is my overall opinion.
So I want to say that physique with me next to Brad was my best physique I've probably ever had in my entire life. That was the leanest I've ever been and the best I think I've ever looked. And that actually was when I was at 215 nanograms per deciliter testosterone because I was dieting so much and I was doing so much cardio. And yeah, that's the best physique. That's the best I've looked since then. After getting my test results, I have went through a little bit of a mini bulk. I gained around 10 pounds. I went up to 180. I think now I'm at 176, 177 morning weight, a little bit leaner. Still not where I was when I was in Miami and LA, which is around 170. Around 170 mark is when I get like, that's like around like when my physique
Overall
looks pretty
assessment.
good.
If I had to guess, I would say that he cycled on and off PDs, probably SARMs in the past, but that now that he's 22, he no longer wants to use that. He's already got the size that he needs. He already looks great. He's maintaining a very lean physique. And so no more. Why take SARMs? He cares about his health. He has great information on his channel. I've watched a number of his videos. He knows what he's talking about. He shares scientific information and can help many people on their journey to getting an incredible looking physique. I don't think he's on SARMs. I don't think he's taking any PDs. He got his testosterone levels checked and they were in the toilet. And I do believe that they are going to return to normal so long as he's not on PDs. Perhaps he could take something like 3-test or G-test or ashwagandha, tonk.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Greg's a super nice guy. I appreciate him, like, you know, giving me the compliments and showing love to my channel and everything. But yeah, I'd say like my best physique of all time was like those Miami videos in LA. That's why I looked absolutely insane. Like and honestly, the whole insane factor is from being lean and shredded. You can have a decently like subpar physique, but if you get yourself into that single digit body fat range, everything just pops more. Your veins pop more, your muscles have more definition to them. So that's like my favorite place to be at is like, for me, it's like that 170 mark. So I'm trying to get down to that now for the show. But yeah, again, that's it for this, me, you know, reviewing this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, this is my like defense or opinion of Greg's analysis of my 6-year natural transformation. You can believe whatever side you want. It's not like you have to be on one team or the other. You can just take what you got from this video from Greg's and have your own like view of it. But don't hate me again for somebody else's opinion. If somebody thinks that I'm not natural, don't take that for fact and then like just go and shit on me for it. And the same thing, if you know that I'm natural, don't go ahead into Greg's channel and be like, yo, like, why are you know spreading this? You know what I mean? Like, it's all love at the end of the day. Me and Greg are cool. And yeah, and the reason why I choose to, you know, want to kind of defend it, I guess, is I see so many kids hopping on like gear, taking shit from such a young age, especially now, like the new generation of lifters. It seems like it's a lot more common and accessible than it was like a decade ago. And I hate to see that. And people, like, you don't have to take all this shit. Like, you got to understand, like, building a physique is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, it takes time. And, like, you have to make sure you learn. You're not going to know everything the first year or two of lifting. Like, you got to really learn from the people. Watch YouTube videos of, like, well, learn from me, learn from Greg is key. And then make sure you just take it slow, bro. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world if it takes you, you know, a few years longer to build the physique that you want versus if you're going to risk your health and take years off of your life just so you can get, you know, look good with your shirt off a little bit earlier. Like, it's really not worth it. So make sure you're smart about it. And I always preach just to stay natural because I have a big audience of younger people, and I was always tell them to stay natural. And I will keep saying still that 6-year transformation was 100% natural. It is achievable natural with really, really good genetics. I think I can even get a better physique than that naturally if I actually go through one more really legitimate off season where I actually focus on building size and not staying lean for social media. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, take for this what you want. No hate in the comments, please. It's all love. Again, at the end of the day, it's all love. All right, love you guys. God bless. Code Alex Raw Gear, Alpha Lion, Flex Pro, and Celsius. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.